Hello, my name is Father Stan Chu Ilo. I am a priest of Ogu Diocese in Enugu State in Nigeria. I welcome you to this platform of the Canadian Samaritans for Africa, a Canadian based registered Catholic charity. At Canadian Samaritans for Africa, we work together as friends in order to support the good works that God is doing in the midst of God's people. Our focus is African women, and we build on their assets. I am convinced from growing up in Africa, traveling to different African countries, or when I look at the courageous life of my mother, Rose, I am convinced that the future of Africa lies on the shoulders of African women. African women are courageous. African women are resilient. African women are tough. African women are creative and ingenious. African women have the spirit of never say never. They are also filled with a generous spirit of giving. And they pass on these skills in a very special way to their children. So everywhere you go in Africa, African women are saying to the darkness, we beg to differ. I believe and I am convinced that despite the cultural, social, and economic obstacles that many African women face, that they are moving on. They are soldiering on. And this is why our charity is totally committed to building on these assets, their skills, their ingenuity, their social capital, their capacity to work collaboratively, cooperatively, as groups everywhere you go in Africa, you see them. What inspires me are, I think, three. First is my own experience growing up in Nigeria. I was born after the terrible civil war in my country. The first modern genocide in Africa took place in post-independence Africa took place in Nigeria, the Biafran Nigerian War. So I grew up seeing the ravages of war, hearing my parents bemoaning their woes, the lives of family members wasted, the wealth of the family totally decimated. We studied in schools that had bullet holes all over. We played as children with disused shells, skating through mines. And many of us are alive today by God's special grace. How can I forget the day that they were digging for a toilet in my school and stumbled onto a mass grave? Indeed, the school where I was born, the school that my father ran immediately after the war as the principal, used to be a refugee center. So I think as a child that I saw that this world needs love and peace. But peace cannot be brought about unless there is justice. Poverty injustice in the world are the things that brought so much war and violence. And the image, and that's the second experience of the Good Samaritan, inspires me. The story of a man who was traveling but saw a wounded man, and that stopped every plan for him. For him, this man was a brother. So, like Martin Luther King Jr. said, the Good Samaritan did not ask the question about his own interest or his own needs at that moment when he saw a human being suffering, a fellow human being suffering. He didn't ask, what will happen to me? What will happen to my journey? What will happen to my business? What will happen to my program today? Rather, his question was, what will happen to this man if I do not stop to help him? And so he made this man his brother and family member. He took him as his own, took him to the hospital, took care of him, paid for his expenses, and said, I will come back tomorrow. He didn't just shoot and run. He took responsibility. When anyone suffers, I suffer. When anyone's human dignity is violated, mine is violated as well. And we cannot be happy if our brothers and sisters are unhappy, are suffering. And that's why I am in this. The third experience for me is my encounter with Jesus Christ, my Lord and my Savior, who died on the cross for me, who came to this earth to suffer, entered into the chaos of our human lives, entered into the dump of humanity and saved us, not from above, but as one with us. So this is what inspires us to do what we do. We are servants. I feel I am called to be a servant to the poor, not their master. I feel that I am called to be a co-pilgrim with the poor, not their helper. I am convinced that I am called to become poor and to affirm and also accept my own poverty, my own inadequacy, so that I can see in the suffering of others my own face and the face of the one who said that whatsoever you do to the least of these, you've done to me. So Jesus has made himself the poor. Jesus has made himself the sick. And that's what inspires me. So the words, especially of Saint Therese of Lisieux, moves me profoundly. First, she says, nothing is too little in the sight of God. So what we're doing is to identify assets and, in small ways. Nothing is too small in the sight of God. But then her prayer moves me profoundly. She says, my life is a moment. I am only passing by this way. My life is for a moment. I am only the breath of God. Oh my God, help me to know that for loving you and loving my neighbors, I have only today to do it. For my life is only for a moment. So this is an imperfect offering, but I hope that you become part of it, and I hope that God will continue to bless the little that we do. For nothing we do is perfect, but in God, everything we do can be perfected.